Today we're going to be going over how to successfully batch out your credit cards. Now, when you run a transaction, it doesn't actually directly go to your bank account. It goes into what's called a batch. Now, once that batch is closed, at that point it goes to the middleman and then it goes to the bank at that point. But if you never batch out your credit cards, you can see some delays or possibly never seeing those funds until then. The first thing you want to do is you want to log in. Once you log in, you want to go to your back office, and then we have an option here called Check Operations. Once here, you can see at the very top right, it's very simple. There's a credit card settlement option. Now, I don't have credit cards set up here, so I'm going to get this message. But from your point, you should see an option that will prompt you, do you want to batch out your credit cards? To where you can just click on yes, and it'll go through the process. Now, that's the easiest way to do it, but that's a manual way of doing it. There's also other ways of doing it by, for example, clicking day in, but there's a few settings that will have to be in place before you can enable this. First thing you want to do is you want to go back into your back office. You then want to go to your store settings, and then at the very top there's going to be an option called credit card. Now, towards the right side, you can see there's a bunch of different options. So the first one here, you have what's called Perform Auto Settlement. If you enable this, you can see you can actually click in the little field and it'll give you a settlement time to which you can set the exact time that you want this to batch. Now, ideally, you want to make sure whatever time you set it for is the latest time that you will close. So this includes maybe a Friday or a weekend to where you may stay a little bit later. You may want to set that at least 30 minutes ahead of that. The next option here is going to be an option for performing the batch settlement on end of the day. So how this works is when you do your day in, meaning you're counting your drawer, you've done all of the settings and everything else, this will actually not only close out the day, it would also batch out your credit cards. So this is a great feature to have. You just want to make sure that the day in is also closing everything else out, including your credit cards. You can use this as a back end. Now, once that's set up, actually once you have the auto settlement set up, you want to be aware that setting that up will also remove the option to manually batch out. So just to show you, once I enable this and I go back into my operations, you can see how there's no longer an option to manually batch it out. This means that the exact time that you set it for, it's going to initiate the batch on its own, and you don't have to worry about it. The only thing about that is you want to make sure that the software is running, meaning it's at least on the login page. The moment you close the software, it doesn't initiate the sequence to batch out your credit cards automatically. Any questions regarding the batch, feel free to give me a call here at 888-470-0878.